people are good. I believe in the general goodness of people.
To play and have fun and enjoy life and help other people do the same, right?
We're only on this planet for a short time. I don't know where we came from. I don't know where we're going after this, but my whole why in life is just to kind of be a witness to this place that I've been dropped upon, to see it, to appreciate it.
To figure out who you want to be in the world. We are so excited to get to know Natalie Oliver-Atherton as we discuss what it takes to be creative and help
Ooh.
develop creativity in others.
Mhm.
Ms. Atherton has done amazing things in everything from commercial work to film to Broadway musicals, and now she is the holder of the Ms. Senior America title, as well as all of her amazing teaching and coaching work with the company that she and her husband, Jeffrey Atherton, run called Namaste Works. Natalie, thank you so much for being here with Eyes of Wonder Journeys. Lori and I have also been in the realm of performing arts and teaching. We've made it the main focus of our lives, cheerleading our students and being there for those who are looking for new ways to look at things and how to find ourselves through exploration and travel. You have so many creative ideas, movements, and businesses that you've started, and we want to make sure that you tell us all about those, especially your trips to Egypt, the Suck It To 'Em Suck campaign, and Ambassadors for Humanity.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for inviting me here today.
Will you tell us about Namaste and the relationship to the Hindu language and why you came up with that to begin with?
It's one of those words that the broad terminology, namaste, means the divine in me loves, honors, and acknowledges the divine in you. And I thought to see the God self in every person just makes sense. So namaste means to do that. So namaste, to see the God self, works. Oh, I thought I was very clever. Very clever.
I agree. I think you are very clever.
Very clever.
It's
You
very
know what I mean?
creative. But it also is like its own mission statement, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
it just holds it all together for you.
That's exactly right. Namaste Works vocal and acting studio came into being through my handsome husband who wouldn't let it go. When we moved here 28 years ago, came here with a show, Brief History of White Music. It was supposed to run 4 months. It ran over a year. After being here for over a year, we decided to stay. And that was 28 years ago. My husband thought I should open a studio. I didn't agree. And so he wouldn't leave me alone about it, but I wouldn't listen. So finally, on the last performance of A Brief History of White Music, he was standing next to someone who wanted to be taught by me. He was like, "What? Hold that thought. Come with me." So he brings her to the dressing room and says, "Honey, I have somebody out here who wants to meet you. Come on out." So I come on out, and this cute little lady, now you know this, Roberta, but you don't, Lori. Jeffrey's 6'6". And this little lady was barely 5'2". So he could present her, and his whole head was above her head, right? So he presents this lady and says, "Vienna, this is my wife." And we'd met before because she'd stayed after shows at other times. And I said, "Hi, good to see you." She said, "Yeah, I came back to see you again. I love you so much. Ba da 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 da. I was wondering if you're a vocal instructor. I would love to be taught by you." And so there she is. And I look up at him and I'm like, "I'm gonna kill you." I mean, I don't have a practice per se anymore. I've taught, individuals, from time to time, but it's never been a formal thing. So come on over. So she did. And long story short, I had the time of my life and a whole new door opened. And I realized that I have a lot to pay forward. And furthermore, that I'm good at it, that I'm actually good at a new person showing up in front of me and me developing a language specifically for them once I find out who they are. And what can I say except it chose me before I realized I should be choosing it?
How cool that that started with somebody having the bravery to ask you for your
Yeah,
help. Because
absolutely. Yeah, it was just really, really cool. And I don't know, these days, 28 years later, um, I should be very careful in my life of saying things I won't do, that I never want to do, because somehow those, God is laughing somewhere going, oh, really? Watch this. And 4 years ago, the co-director of the drama department at Denver School of the Arts had me come in for a master class. And when the master class was over, he tried to be all sly, sent me an email and said, I was wondering, you did such an amazing job. I really, love your vibe and think you could bring a lot to the kids about what it is to be in the entertainment industry and all they need to know to prepare. And so I'm wondering if I could get you to come and teach a class. All right, here we go again, God, right? I said I didn't want to. And just because I said it, I didn't want to, now you're just going to try to make me. Okay, I'm going to follow my marching orders once again and roll up in this high school and see if I can get them to fire me.
Well, you mentioned something about teaching, which is something that I find when I'm coaching and teaching my voice students and
Mhm,
acting students, of course. There are philosophies and methods and all those kinds of things, but I have always said I don't teach a curriculum, I teach people.
mhm.
And you mentioned that, and that takes a lot of creativity to
It does.
get somebody new to you and say, okay, this is your voice, this is who you are. How can I
That's
work
right.
with you?
That's
Can
right. And
talk to us about that a little bit.
our kids have a lot of issues and ADHD, OCD, Asperger's, um, dyslexia. And interestingly enough, as the universe would have it, I seem to be uniquely qualified to teach kids with any kind of learning disability like that. Because my philosophy is, okay, so what? We're not going to use that as an excuse. We're going to know that you learn a little differently than maybe other kids do. And so what? Let's figure out the best way for you to understand. And you can't sit there and nod your head when you don't understand. You have to speak to me. You have to communicate to me. Of course, I always know. I always look in their eyes and go, okay, you look like a deer in the headlights right now. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? Okay, let me try again.
A lot of people associate the word creativity with the arts.
Hmm.
So they think, oh, if you're creative, that means you can draw and
Hmm.
paint and you can play a musical instrument. But it's not just the arts. Like creativity is anything that you do that's just a little bit outside the norm. So
Hmm.
in your job, in any job, you can be creative, you can seek different solutions to things. That's all being creative.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things I love so much about DSA is being a guest artist and being allowed to come out of my own bag. Yes, there is a curriculum. Yes, there is a box, in which here are the salient points that we hope you hit at some point during your stay or during this particular module. But how you do it and from what reference point you do it is entirely up to you.
I think as teachers, that's part of our job is to help them know what they already have that they already can do.
Mhm.
Another thing I hear with creativity around that subject is people saying, "Oh, I'm not creative. I'm not creative at all. It's a different type of brain, different type of person. I've just never been creative." Well, no, that's not true. We're all born with creativity. We just don't realize it.
That's right. I think you're right about that. And, you know, I think that people want to box creativity because they don't want the responsibility.
Mm.
I think that, like, if you're an engineer and you want to be effective as an engineer, to rise through the ranks, you're going to have to be creative because you're slugging it out with all the other engineers in your company or all the other lawyers or all the other doctors in your company. And if you want to separate yourself from the pack and uh, create a way that you bring something unique to the table, that takes creativity. You
Mhm.
can't just do it how it was prescribed or how someone else told you how to do it. You have to come out of your own bag in a really interesting way. And so you're right about that. In every walk of life, to do it well, as far as I'm concerned, some creativity is involved.
But also there is that, no, we want you to follow the rules. We don't want you to overstep. We don't want you
Mhm.
to come out and look, like, what do you think, you're better than the rest of us or whatever. I mean, there are moments of that we have to be able to, I think, overcome and say, well, authentically, truthfully, honestly, this is who I am. I'm a creative person. And that might be very difficult for you to be with. Have you ever had that experience?
Oh, there's plenty of that. And I bring, how shall we say, color to the conversation. I'm the voice of reason that says, okay, they say that, and that's how it has to be. Well, then now we're going to pivot and we're going to make friends with reality and we're going to take what we can do and work with that. We're not going to harp on and pounce, bounce on what we can't do and how upset we are and all of that. We're not going to do that. That takes too much time and energy, and we're busy over here. We're going to pivot now and figure out how we still get to do what we want to do inside this new smaller box that they've given us.
Mm.
And so far, so good. And that's why when I thought after the first year that it would be a one and done, because I am that girl. I'm the one bucking the system that would have the powers that be go, what in the world? Who? Well, and I mean, I've been called on the carpet.
We are shiny in the world. We are
Oh, heck
we
yeah.
are effervescent.
Do you
We
see me? Do you
Yes,
see
I
me?
do. I see you. But I think there's something about that mirror and that reflection
Hmm.
that some people can't be with.
That's
And
right. Turn it down. Turn it off. It's too much.
mhm,
And I spent too many years as a young person trying to bend myself into a pretzel to be whatever people needed me to be, or to turn it down a little bit, or to I'm 65 in 2 weeks, and I'm no longer having it in
mhm.
any way, shape, or form. If you don't want what I'm selling, fire me. I will find something else to do. The universe has much use for me and always finds me something else to do, okay? Because I'm not going to do this any differently than I am doing it.
I think a lot of us come to that in our 60s, and
Yeah.
I wish I had that. I've done a lot of standing up for things from
Yeah, it's like
day
I'm
one, but I
sorry.
wish I had the attitude I have now.
Right. But we weren't taught that.
I know.
So, I mean, thankfully I had a lot of support in the things that I could do. But starting in the school systems, right? It's all
Right.
about no, sit down. Where I always tell my kids, we spent a lot of time teaching you how to walk and how to talk, and now we're going to tell you to sit down and shut up.
Right.
That's not who we should be as teachers and mentors and livers of life.
That's right.
Um,
That's exactly right. And I wasn't taught that either until I went in search of my divine self.
How does Namaste, the Arts Alliance, how does that work?
That now is the not for profit wing of my companies that seeks to create ambassadors for humanity. I have a long history of spending time on the road, traveling with a group called STARS, Singers Taking Action Reaching Souls. I am no longer a member of that group, but I was for 20 years, 22 years. And we decided as an entity, and it had three, um, a 24-member group, a 12-member group, and a trio. And we decided that we were going to plant our feet on all the spiritual vortexes on the planet and bring music on a street corner, in a venue, in a restaurant, wherever we happen to be. And we did that for 20 years. And as a result of that, we created a group, created a wing of that organization called the International Music Exchange. So that when we were going to Kenya, to Egypt, to Morocco, to Burundi, to India, to South Africa, to Canada, to all over the world, when we met other choirs, we cultivated relationships and then brought them here to perform in a venue and to tour.
I love it.
And I was an integral part as the director of Stars in managing them once they got here. And, just being the good humor lady or something. So I got lots of experience with international exchanges, which when I left our organization, I thought, I'm going to take that with me.
Sometimes when our world feels fractured and we have so many things to do, we forget to enjoy this one life we are given. Eyes of Wonder Journeys creates opportunities for travel and discovery. Two performing arts teachers, Lori Gabriel and Roberta Hamilton Criggs, have formed a tour company that is focused on guiding travelers to some of the world's most iconic destinations. By exploring new places with curiosity and an open mind, we can uncover meaningful ways to enrich our lives. Through our eclectic tours and our new podcast, we meet a wide range of people who help us appreciate the opportunities our world provides.
But what I seek to do is create groups of young people in this country to come together and create, and then bring groups that I have previously worked with overseas here for a cultural exchange, create such tight-knit work environments and play environments that then will be invited by them to come to their country.
That's awesome. Do you have a
Yeah.
story, like any stories that come to mind of some cool exchange that happened?
It's mind-blowing, bringing groups from Kenya here to sing and play and tour and really get the flavor of America in a way that they wouldn't have touring on their own.
What kind of reactions have you had from people coming here? Is it what they expected, or is it different than they thought it would be?
Well, they all think that we're all wealthy, that
Hmm.
we all have lots of money, that racism isn't what it is in, for example, South Africa. And they are shocked
Hmm.
at how comparable and, in fact, ahead of them we are in race relations, ahead meaning more racist
Right,
than what they experience
right.
in their own countries. And they would have thought it was the opposite. And the big difference, as what's his name, Brian Stevenson would tell you, Eddie Glaude Jr. would tell you, the big difference between our country and everyone else is our unwillingness to admit it, to apologize for it, and to want to do better.
Mhm.
Agreed.
In Germany, in South Africa, apartheid South Africa, they realize what they did wrong. And they are about the business of fixing it. Is it perfect? No. In Germany, is it perfect? No. But they have at least acknowledged the wrong and are striving to correct it.
We talk a lot about world peace because we
Mm-hmm.
believe that traveling
Mm-hmm.
can be one step toward that.
Absolutely.
For all of those people to realize different things about us than what they thought, what they had in
Absolutely.
their heads. But I'm thinking that creativity has to be used in these things. When we build ourselves boxes and everything
Mm-hmm.
is black and white, we can't think in those terms.
That's right. And one of the reasons why stars means singers taking action, reaching souls, sought to plant its feet on every spiritual vortex on the planet was because we know the ripple effect of putting together your sense of your godhood and this beautiful thing that he gave us, that is music, that is creativity, that is expressing yourself artistically, that crosses all barriers, always. And so even in China, where I've been 10 times, where we've done concert in Malaysia, um, even when people don't know the language, even when Malaysians and the Chinese don't understand English, they still can feel us, right? And so it breaks down barriers. It dispels the myth of the ugly American, in our case. Um, and it creates new connection, new, what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Harmony.
that's a great word. New harmony between cultures just through creativity,
Mm.
artistry,
I
music.
get goosebumps.
Yeah,
It
me
just
too.
does. It just does. And that's why I had to do it. You know, I spent 20 years on the road with them and just couldn't wait till the next trip for that reason, because I could see how being creative just lit people up.
Mm.
And the one connection we all have is putting a smile on people's faces with beautiful sounds.
Mhm. You know, when Patrick and I first started dating, we
Hmm.
decided it would be great to go to Europe. So we
Hmm.
went for 3 months and busked. He brought a little travel guitar and we sang on the streets.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, it was great seeing all of the amazing, you know, the Eiffel Tower and going to
Yeah.
Rome and go all of those wonderful
Places.
places, of course. But the best part of all of that was the people
Yeah.
and how they wanted to come up and take care of us
Yeah.
and you know and be with us and bring us home sometimes to our
Yeah.
lives.
I'm telling you, there's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. In all my travels, the hospitality, the roll out the red carpet, the take you home with them, the bring you food, keep you fed, show you where everything is. Need an iron? Stand right there. I'll get you an iron right now. Run to get you. Do you know what I mean? It's incredible.
Yes.
And
Yeah, you don't know that till you travel. But it doesn't have to even be something big like taking somebody home or doing a concert together. It can be a millisecond. Like when I went to Germany, there were all these accordion players,
hmm
local accordion players on the corners, and they were all singing Edelweiss. Well, also Que sera, sera.
yeah.
So
And then
I
when you can
would
stand there
jump
and
in.
sing with them,
Yes, I would jump in and sing with them,
a
and then
whole new
I would
thing.
go on my merry way. And it was just like this shared moment,
Mhm.
and all we did was sing a song and no conversation at all.
But
But
the
it was
heart connection
it
Mhm.
was
for
a hard
life,
conversation.
for life.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing for sure.
We
All right, then.
understand that.
Hmm.
Yes.
And isn't it, I mean, that is a part of the creativity too, and also the whole like the universe is still waiting for us to do some things. We've done this period. Lori and I, when we first started, we're like, okay, we've got what, a third left of our
Hmm.
life?
Yes,
We want to fill that up.
that's right. The third act's going to be the best act. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. It
I
makes
want to
me
know about this.
very emotional, actually. I get very
Oh,
emotional. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to know what it was like to open for Maya Angelou.
Oh, great story. Great story. Maya um, and I have several people in common. And I didn't know that. But there were several women who I was friends with that were goddaughters of hers. And so one of the first times she was here, she spoke at the Buell. One of my girlfriends invited me, and then surprised me when the show was over, um, saying, "Come on, we're going to go to my dressing room."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, what? Are you kidding me?" So we went and she was glorious, and it was like having an audience with the Queen of England.
Yeah.
And she's just was an amazing, amazing woman. And she was joking with me and said, the next time I come through here and we see one another, I want you to have gained some weight. Okay. You're too thin. And we laughed, and I said, I can't help it. I just am naturally thin. And she was like, I don't want to hear any more about it. Okay, goodbye, but gain some weight. Okay. So when I opened for her, when she came back to the Pepsi Center, as the universe would have it, she requested that the person who opened for her be a local and that they be a singer. And Becky Toma was somehow connected to the people putting that together. And at the time, I was working with another writer, singer-songwriter, Denise Gentilini, and she had some originals that we recorded together. And so I got to open for her with an original that we thought was perfect for her talk. And once again, I got an audience with the great Dr. Maya Angelou. And do you know that she remembered me and she remembered our joke? And we chatted, hi, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. I'm overwhelmed that I'm getting this opportunity, having met you a few years ago. And she looked at me and said, yeah, and a few years ago, what did I tell you? Didn't I tell you I wanted you to gain some weight? We howled together, howled together. I was like, I cannot believe you are still saying this. She said, well, clearly are not listening, you know. So we had the best time about it. And then I got to open, for this huge crowd at the Pepsi Center who came to see her. And it was certainly a highlight of my life. And now that she's gone, even more so.
No,
Beautiful.
imagine. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it
And
was really
knowing
cool.
you and knowing of her, I'm not at all surprised that she remembered you.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Mhm.
Very, very cool. I wish I'd known her better.
I was able to bring the St. Mary's Academy Choir to sing for Malala at the
Oh, lovely.
center, which was really great. And we were out,
Oh.
we had like 15 minutes to do a sound check or something.
Hmm.
And we were doing a song, Stand Together, and I love that song. It was awesome. Hired a drummer to come and do it with us. And
Hmm.
we did the sound check. And then we went back into the dressing room and they said, do you have something else?
Oh,
And I was like, well, we have Sarah Bareilles' Brave. And they said, yeah, that's it. That's right. And we didn't even get to go out and do another sound check or anything. And I had to tell the drummer to go home. That's what didn't need him. And
yeah.
yeah,
See,
so
and this is to my point. Know how to pivot. No, stay ready so you don't have to get ready and
yeah.
be ready on a dime to have to pivot,
Oh,
because the right answer is never going to be, no, I'm sorry, we don't. That is never going to be the right answer. So good for you that
yeah.
had something in your pocket ready to go that was popular that would work,
Yeah. I
you
love
know.
that though. I'm writing that down. Stay ready so you don't have to
So you don't
get
have to
ready.
get ready. Yeah,
Oh,
come on
I
now.
wrote down something you
very
said
good.
earlier. You
That is.
said earlier, make friends with reality. I wrote that.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
Mhm.
it's a big
Yes.
deal. The thing we haven't talked about yet is 45 years of pageantry off and on.
Oh,
Started with Miss America when I was 17. In my 40s, it was Mrs. America. Then in my 60s, back to Mrs. America for a year, finally culminating in Ms. Senior America. And it took all of 45 years to arrive at what I always believed. And can I tell you, from 17 to 64, something in my soul said, if you can just get these people to give you a chance, you will make a great national spokesperson. And I just believed that and held on to it. And even though over and over and over again I was the bridesmaid and not the bride, I believed. And the Ms. Senior America brand, the The best act is the third act. Ladies over 60 know that it's not too late. Know that you can continue to still be and do anything you want to do. And with the wisdom and experience that you've accumulated all this time, you can turn around and pay it forward.
You've got to make friends with whatever age you're at right now and respect everything that brought you there and know that you are exactly where you're supposed to be without a doubt because you made the decisions that got you there and
That's
you're
right.
inspired and you're not in the wrong place, but don't sell yourself short because
That's
of it.
exactly right. And think that it's over and it's time to, where is this thing? It's time to pick up the clicker and do nothing else. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm telling you, I still have several more miles to run, several more things that I know I want to do. I don't know what you think age looks like, but this is what it looks like. Okay? This is what it can look like. So everybody dispel the myth about ageism and, after 60, it's all over for women and just get over it.
But you created that.
I
You
did.
created that.
I
And
did.
that's what it is.
I did. Eyes on the prize. I hope to end up on a speaking tour in years to come. I intend to be in every parade they'll let me be in. I love a parade. And I just want women, by example, to see what it is to be in our, as we say at Miss Senior America, in the age of elegance.
I love that.
I love it. Thank you. This
Yeah,
is
no.
wonderful. This has been so, so lovely to get to know you a little bit better every time I
Yeah.
see you, a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
And you just led us through so many wonderful things. You are a great coach, and I appreciate your giving of yourself for this time.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Some people think you're either born creative or you're not. The truth is, all humans are creative, but sometimes we stop flexing that muscle, or we're discouraged from using it. Creativity isn't just artistic or musical talent. It can simply mean finding a different way to look at a situation. Find new ways to look at the world on an Eyes of Wonder journey.